what's going on, everybody? TK here with the Service Alliance Group, and it is Freestyle Friday. And as always, I got my co-host with me, Miss Ward. Good morning, Miss Ward.
Hey man, you know what Dave say, better than I deserve, man. Let's get it. Hey, it's Friday,
That's
man.
right.
We doing what we do.
It is Friday. It is Friday, and I am happy to have this Friday come, and I'm ready for a weekend of hopefully some rest and relaxation. But we're kicking off tomorrow strong with our monthly mastermind. So, for those of you out there that have not joined a mastermind, that have not been a part of something like this, I highly recommend it. Good morning, Garrison. Good to see you, brother. Um, we did a little precursor last night to the mastermind at the elevation hour, and we had some really, really good talks last night. Unfortunately, TK, in true TK fashion, forgot to hit record in the beginning of the session. So no one will ever see that awesome elevation hour. I even told myself before we started, I was like, all right, because there was another one where I forgot to record it. I think it was the last one. And once again, I forgot to record it. So sorry, everybody. I am going to record the next one, hopefully. So anyway, but we had a great time last night. Had some really awesome folks show up. Had some brand new people to the appliance industry, or fairly new. I shouldn't say brand new. Had some veterans in the house. Shout out to all those guys and gals that showed up. We had some really good conversations, and it's like we always say, we talk about this over and over. It's been the topic all week. Networking is such a strong, powerful thing in business, such a strong, powerful thing in life. And I just love getting in rooms with other business owners and hearing how they do it. And it's kind of, and a lot of times for me, it's just reaffirming to hear other people doing things similar to how you do it, or you hear them struggling with the same things you're struggling with. So, if you haven't been to one of the elevation hours, I highly recommend it. But these elevation hours are just a little preview of the mastermind. And really, we want everybody to be a part of these masterminds. So if you haven't signed up over at servicealliancegroup.com, we highly recommend it. Use the promo code Appliance Alliance, all caps, Appliance Alliance. If you want to sign up, you'll get 20% off. But anyway, that's enough of that talk. How's your week been, Miss Ward?
You know, it's a wonderful thing when you really realize how blessed you are. You know what I mean? And it's been that kind of week where
Mm-hmm.
I have been an observer. And you know how you sit back and observe and you mature as a person, as I mature as a woman of God, and I really sit in that place about how really wonderfully I'm made. You feel me? And how everything don't require a
Mm.
response. Sometimes you got to sit back and get the lesson and pray at a distance. That's what my week been like, honey.
I
You gotta let
love it.
them have it and
I
keep
love
it
it.
going and give it to God, boo. Give it to God.
I love it. Well, on that note, I would be honored if you'd pray for us this morning, and we'll get right into this Freestyle Friday. If you have questions about anything, drop them in the chat. We're going to start talking, but we would love to answer your questions, all that good stuff. But Miss Ward's going to pray us up this morning, so let's pray.
Lord, thank you for allowing us to see not only another day, another hour, another moment, another minute. Lord, please give us the ability to hear the vision and to walk it out. Lord, a lot of times you give us things and put it on our heart to do things that seem impossible in our limited human thought process because we know everything through you is possible. Lord, cover us on our journeys today. Lord, cover all the technicians and their families, all the business owners and their families. Please clear their minds so that they can make the best decision, not just for the day, but for tomorrow and forevermore. Lord, order our steps in everything we do. In your name, we say amen.
Amen. Thank you, Miss Ward. Appreciate that.
Amen.
Um, yeah, it's been it's been a good week for me. I was talking to Miss Ward in the pre-roll. I'm actually going to be taking a little break from the Service Alliance group. Nothing permanent, just a little sabbatical, if you will, to refocus and work on some personal things and some things in my business. I was really torn about it at first because I was like, man, I love this community. I love being a part of everything. And as I'm approaching it, I'm actually getting more and more excited about it because I realize that it's something that's needed. Whether I want to do it or not, I might as well embrace it and truly try to work on some personal things during this time. And I wanted to touch on that a little bit this morning because everybody's going through things, everybody's dealing with stuff, everybody's got different seasons and trials and tribulations in your life. And most of us are believers in God. We believe in God and we trust in God. But even God himself made a very important uh statement that it's important to rest from the beginning. He made a specific day that we need to rest, which most of us don't even do anymore. We think that's a joke. We think that, hey, well, that's something old that people did back in the day. If you're not having some sort of Sabbath day during your week, number one, I highly recommend it. I always tell people like this: if it was good enough for God, it's good enough for me. If God said on the seventh day he rested, I'll go ahead and do that. And I don't give a rip if you do it on Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Find you a day to rest. I don't think God's too caught up on the day that you do it. I think it's important that you just do it. Um, and also, I think it's important for those of you that are suffering from burnout, that are maybe suffering from something you've been going through, that you take some time, whether it's a week or a long weekend. Memorial Day is coming up. Take some time and really get refocused and rested up and ready for the next season that God has for you. Because whether you guys like it or not, busy season is coming. Busy season is upon us, and we're going to rock and roll and knock this thing out. What's your thoughts, Miss Ward, on all that kind of stuff? Because I know you go hard. So how do you balance all that out?
Well, first of all, you have to understand why you're going hard. I think a lot of people get out here and they go hard and they don't know what they're doing, why they're doing it. You feel me? And I think you get kind of burned out because you see a new shiny object and you just throw it in there and say, I'm going to go hard on that too. I'm going to go hard on this too. And I think it comes back to, like my favorite book um, about the alignment and the focus. And I was looking at some notes I made, and it was like, and I was looking at focus tips from Atomic Habits. So, like one thing, it talks about implementation of intentions. Plan your habits with the when and where statements. For instance, I will, whatever the habit is, at certain time and certain location. And I think a lot of times because of having a business, dealing with the technical expertise, dealing with the customers, trying to make sure you got enough profit so you can open the doors and pay your staff the next day. Like people get overwhelmed because they have no structure, they have no discipline. And a lot of us, this is our first time. Like we don't even know what we're doing. We guessing as we go. So I think it's important you take the time and not only rest, but you got to rest mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. That means eliminate all the distractions. See, a lot of us, like I said earlier, and I said everything don't require a response. That's you energy I could be focusing on growing and being of service. Because the more we are of service, the more I like to say, the more profit I have. When I'm doing things in order, and I think that burnout comes from the frustration of saying I was going to do this and this is not the results I'm getting. What's going on? I'm discouraged. And that goes back to the
Mm-hmm.
networking. That goes back to the basis of the Service Alliance group about people coming together and building something. You know, it pains me to no end when I see people put questions in places and people ridicule them as if they were never there. And this is why I applaud you, TK, for even beginning this. You know, you're a man that I love to death, you know, next to your wife, of course. And I love your heart because you remind me of a man with a heart after David, you know, after God, just like David. You know, you humble, you show up regular, you're approachable. And I think sometimes I look at you personally, and this is your friend talking, and I see the frustration because of your heart. You know, people and places and things taking advantage of your heart and your spirit. So don't ever apologize for being you. Take whatever time you need to do, my brother. You feel me? Because we need you around a long time in the best possible form of who you are. You follow me?
I,
So
I
these
appreciate
are things that I have had to learn for myself. And it's family. Look, let me tell you something. Don't call me. You know, that's my favorite line. If you don't have your life, and look, you need some help, come to me with the issue, the problem quick. I don't want to hear a long story. You feel me? I just want you to
Mm-hmm.
win. And I want you to understand you were wonderfully made by God out the womb. You have everything you need to be successful. We only have a problem when we get off the path and we get distracted. That's
For
all I got,
sure.
man.
You're so right. And I'll tell you one thing that I've been trying to learn from and move past. And my secretary is always telling me this. She's like, TK, she said, you care too much. And it's just one of those things that I guess it's just built into me. I don't know what, but I tend to care too much. And that's not a good thing, I don't think. And I'm trying to navigate that these days, um, and try to focus my care very intentionally, because I'll care about things that don't even matter, and that's my problem. I need to prioritize what I give my energy and my time to, and that's something that I'm really focusing on. And not that the Service Alliance Group isn't something that I want to spend energy and time to. I care about this community probably more than anybody in it, just because I've been in it since day one. And I have so many close friends and acquaintances in this group. I have deep relationships with people in this community, and a lot of times to my detriment, whether I want to admit it or not. But at the end of the day, I'm ready to take this little sabbatical and come back on fire. And I was talking about this in a live video the other day. It's because of my network, and it's because of the people that I have in my circle that I'm able to take a step back. It's because I have people like EJ and Mike and Zach and Miss Ward and all the moderators and the team that we've put together. If it wasn't for these people, I couldn't take a break. If it wasn't for my team at Richmond Appliance, guys, I couldn't have taken the time off that I did the last few months when my wife was dealing with her cancer stuff. I mean, it was truly a blessing. It wasn't the cancer wasn't a blessing, but it's true a blessing to see the people around me step up and cover my back and have my back during this time. So shout out to the networkers out there. We were talking about this last night. One of the questions that one of the newer alliance members asked was, how do I get more work? I'm just starting this business. I'm out here hustling. I'm out here trying to get calls. I'm knocking the calls out that I have. And how do I get more work? And every single one of the what I would consider gurus in the room had a very similar answer, and it had to do with networking. It had to do with either networking in your local community. I told her straight up. I said, go out there and network with every single local appliance company, whether they sell appliances, install appliances, fix appliances. It doesn't matter. Network with all of them. And then find out what they don't do. Find out Whatever is missing in your area, and focus on that. For everybody knows my story. For me, it was Samsung and LG. When I came into the game, nobody was working on it. It was a completely untapped market. I think there was maybe 4 guys in my area that would touch LG and Samsung, or maybe a few more than that. But that's what I focused on from day one, and that's what we've really been successful with. And now the calls just come. If somebody doesn't work on Samsung or LG, it's either going to me or somebody in my network. So, what are your thoughts on that, Ms. Ward? As far as these brand new people getting in, how important is it for them to go out there and start networking and getting around other folks?
I think it's really important. And I think that they have to learn how to be observant. A lot of times, not only are you networking, but you're also learning, because a lot of times people are not successful because of their approach, because they bring too much of themselves into the situation. For me, because I am so strong in so many areas, and strong willed, strong, hard headed, all that good stuff, because of my background, where I come from, and just survival mode, how I think, a lot of opportunities I burnt my own self personally, because I'm rough around the edges and I know it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to watch how you show up. And the key is, I'm not saying you can't be you, but I think you need to learn how to be a student. The first thing I did when I got in the industry is I got around everybody and I absorbed as much as I could. And I would watch them do stuff in their business, and then I would do it in mine, but I would make it and streamline it and bring my whole thought process to it. I just think that people have to understand, people ask for business, but a lot of times they're really not ready and structured for it. So I just think you got to have a 360 view of it. But I agree with you about finding the gaps in the industry and filling them. But I feel that not only should you fill them, but you should excel and be elite at it. Like, you'll hear people say, I work on LG and Samsung, but they really don't work on LG and Samsung. What they do is they guess and they know a couple of but to really understand the product and the evolution of the product. So as it changes and grows, you are still the the best at it.
Yeah, that for those of y'all listening, y'all better remember that, because working on something and being a specialist in that area is 2 different things. Anybody can go in there and replace a heating element canister on a Samsung dryer. That's not tough. But when it comes to some of these what I consider niche markets, whether it's Sub-Zero or Samsung or LG, you really have to know your stuff, and your network is going to help with that. It's because of my network that I can go in on any LG and Samsung and know that, hey, if there's something weird, I have the network to go find the service bulletins or whatever I need, the training seminar on that or whatever. And it's because of the network. If it wasn't for the people that we have in our circle, we wouldn't be where we are today. We got this might be a new viewer here, Brandon Benton. I don't believe I've seen his name before, but thank you for joining us this morning. We had our brother Saul checking in this morning. We had EJ from EJ's Appliance Repair, our brother from another mother. I'm gonna plug this little thing real quick, Miss Ward. I was telling Miss Ward about this thing earlier. I bought this little thing. For those of you that don't know, I am a bin store junkie. I love going to liquidation stores and like thrift stores and sale stores, stuff like that. And I was at the bins a few weeks ago, and I found this little guy. And this thing is one of the coolest little computer tools I've ever seen. It plugs into your computer or TV or Xbox or PlayStation, and it's basically everything you need on a keyboard, but it's portable. So like I could be hooked up to my TV and be typing or whatever, or my computer. So if you don't have one of these little things, I highly recommend it. It's called a RII-X8, and they're super cool. They're only like $25 on Amazon. So if you're into cool little gadgets, I highly recommend it. We got a comment coming in from Mr. Saul. Let's see what he said. Oh, why didn't it work? There we go. I installed a disposer and forgot to remove the knockout. My dishwasher wasn't working and didn't know why, so Gas Bear had to bail me out. Call the pros, guy. Well, let me tell you something, Saul. as a as a technician that absolutely hates dishwashers, they're my number one least favorite appliance. When I go in and I realize that it's a knockout dishwasher, I get really excited. So shout out to all the plumbers and homeowners that leave the plug in the dishwasher. We appreciate y'all.
Shout out. Cha-ching.
Yeah, exactly. Easy money. Should I not think of any other company as a competitor and rather just a way of feeling out the terrain? I don't look I that that's a good question. I don't look at anyone in my local area as my competitor. I'm not even focused on what other people are doing in my area. I'm focused on me. I'm focused on my company, my local network, and making my customers as happy as they can be. I'm all about collaboration. So I have made it perfectly clear in my area that I am here to network with the good ones, and the only ones that I consider not my part of my network are the ones I don't want anything to do with to begin with. I don't want anything to do with shady people. I don't want anything to do with parts changers. I don't want anything to do with people that are out there shotgunning, taking advantage of customers. I don't consider those people as competitors because I am just steadily stealing their customers. But I do stay away from them because I don't want that energy. I don't want that reputation. I don't want any of that drama surrounding me. I don't want people to know that I would even associate with people like that. So if you're getting into this field, um, be very, very careful who you do network with. We talk a lot about the importance of networking, but one thing that you have to do as a business owner, as a believer, as a man or woman of God or whatever you consider yourself to be, you have to be careful who you allow around you, who you network with, who you associate with, because there's a lot of shady ass companies out there, especially nowadays. I would say they've probably doubled in the last 4 to 5 years, and they're coming out of the woodwork. They have no clue what they're doing. They're just out there ripping and running, taking advantage of customers, and it doesn't look good for this industry. That is one of the things that frustrates me the most, is these people that go out there and give appliance repair a bad name. So be very careful, Brandon, and everybody else that's listening, who you associate with. What do you think, Miss Ward, as far as that goes? Because it is, and you've been very adamant about that since day one. It's one of the things I've learned from you, is to be careful who you keep in your circle. So what's your vetting process as far as that goes?
Well, at this point, I just label myself antisocial because I'm gonna be very honest about it. Because when I initially got in, I was really about everybody winning. And then I started realizing, because I would come in and I would have so much business because of how I structured my business from the beginning. I would deal with subcontractors. And that's a whole thing. When you're vetting subcontractors, people will tell you what they can do, and then you find out they can't do it. You should have never even allowed them to have access to your clients because you built this great relationship. So now I'm like ultra antisocial because I don't believe nothing they say. Like, you get burnt enough and refunded it, and have to rebuild those relationships. So for me, I'm just very careful who I align with. And because I force myself to be trained up at all times, I can smell the BS. I can hear it when they're talking to me. Like, prime example, I'll tell you a quick story. I had a guy that was an HVAC guy before I got into Seal Systems. had him go do a compressor on the LG. I asked him, did he update the software? And he said, no, you don't have to do that. I was like, what? I was like, what? You know, you put a compressor in a universal compressor in the LG, and you're not you. I mean, what? And I was a novice at the time. I'm thinking, well, maybe he's been doing it longer than me. Man, let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you a secret about the industry. A lot of people have been around a long time, don't know nothing. I'm telling you, a lot of them are
Fact.
ancient and they might know the basics, but because they got so fat off the basics, and I can use one part on 5 different appliances, and they'll go and tell customers, oh, just unplug it and defrost it and it should be fixed. Like, really? Like, they have no idea about thermodynamics, refrigeration, schematic reading, and then don't want to know. So don't be that guy. One thing Miss Ward has always preached is level up. Every time you go and run into something on an appliance, you go back and study that, because you're going to see it again. Do not be that guy or girl that's out here slinging wrenches, lying to customers, and messing up the industry for the rest of us. Because I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I'm not with it. Not Miss Ward. Left.
There you go. Well, we're going to wrap this thing up. We got a couple questions popping in real quick. Of course, right at the end, we got questions. But either way, we appreciate it. EJ said, sometimes I feel like an imposter because I'm only 5 years in. When does that feeling go away? I don't know. I never felt like an imposter, and I don't think you should either, EJ, because your heart. What are you posing as? You're a business owner. You're a technician. You're a man of God. What are you posing as? What are you an imposter of? You're all those things. Are you the best technician? No, you're not. Neither am I. Neither is Miss Ward. None of us are the best technicians. Are we the best business owners? No, we're not. You're not an imposter. The only ones that are imposters are the ones out there faking it. I know you personally, EJ, so I can speak to your character and I can speak to the type of man you are. You're a great business owner. You're a great man of God, and you are doing what many business owners out there aren't willing to do. Make the hard decisions and do the hard things. Dan had a really good filter here, or vetting process. Ask yourself if you're comfortable sending them to your mom's house. That's a great little nugget right there. If you don't feel comfortable sending that person that you're networking with to your mom's house, you might want to reconsider. Brandon tapped in again. I'm 14 years in and wacky as COVID, wacky as a
cold dishwasher.
Wacky as a cold dishwasher. That I walk up on cold, no info may make me feel like an imposter with the customer happy and interested. There you go. Dr. Dan said, after 40 years, I can tell you it doesn't. Yeah. Yeah, Dan said he still feels like an imposter 40 years later. Brandon said, our industry is one that is a moving target, so we're constantly improving. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're gonna end on this one. When you dye your beard gold. When did I dye my beard gold? It's not gold, man. It's gray. This is my gray beard of wisdom right here, buddy. But anyway, I will be seeing you guys that join the mastermind tomorrow, and if you don't join the mastermind tomorrow, I'll see you guys in a month or two. Miss Ward is still going to be here for the next month or two. Zach and EJ are going to be filling in. And it's just going to be awesome. So once again, we appreciate you guys. If you haven't signed up for the Service Alliance Group All Access Plan, that is your ticket to the mastermind. So if you want to be in these masterminds, go over there to servicealliancegroup.com, sign up there. If you haven't subscribed to Solid Steps to Wealth, make sure you go over there. Miss Ward's dropping nuggets, so make sure you get those gems that she's dropping. We hope you guys have a great week. I'm not going to be on for a little bit, but I hope you have a very safe and awesome Memorial Day next weekend. take some time off, maybe take off a Monday or a Friday, have an extra long weekend, enjoy your family and all that good stuff. Miss Ward, you got anything in closing?
Stay blessed. Stay focused.
There you go. Well, we love you guys. Have an awesome week, and we will catch you soon. Peace. Oh.